Do I have to look a certain place?
You don't have to look at the camera or anything.
Where is the camera? Oh, I don't, I sit right here.
You gonna be seen.
You're right.
Yeah, I know.
Usually-
That's okay.
Okay.
That's your right.
All right. Good morning, everyone. The quarterly meeting of the Executive Committee for the Louisiana Developmental Disabilities Council will now come to order. I would like to welcome everyone to this meeting. And we're gonna go ahead and start. Will Ebony Haven please call the roll for attendance?
Yes, ma'am. Miss Jill Hano. Present. Miss Angela Harmon,
Present.
Miss Christy Gonzalez,
Present.
Miss Brooke Stewart,
Present.
and Miss Renata Washington. Present. You have 5 present and you have a quorum.
All right, thank y'all for coming. At this time, we will have Ms. Ebony Haven read the mission statement and ground rules.
I'm gonna share these. The Louisiana Developmental Disabilities Council's mission is to increase independence, self-determination, productivity, integration, and inclusion for Louisianians with developmental disabilities by engaging in advocacy, capacity building, and systems change. Our ground rules are members must be recognized by the chair before speaking, be respectful of each other's opinion, break for 10 minutes every 1.5 hours, discuss council business in a responsible manner, except if necessary, restrict the use of electronic communication, i.e. texting during council and committee meetings, silence or turn off all cell phones. The mission statement is posted at every meeting. Be on time for meetings, no alphabets, and side conversations are kept to a minimum, done quietly and restricted to the subject at hand.
All right. The next item of business is the approval of the meeting summary for the August 28th Executive Committee meeting, which was distributed. The meeting summary will not be read unless requested by a member. Are there any corrections? If there is no objection, the meeting summary is approved as distributed. And the meeting summary is approved. The next item of business is the update on the building advocacy capacity contract. The chair recognizes Ms. Ebony Hagan.
Okay, so the contract proposal that we received, or that the council approved at the July 2023 meeting for the building advocacy capacity in education and employment was awarded to the ARC of Louisiana, but at that meeting, the council made a stipulation that the ARC had to work with Bayou Land Families Helping Families and collaborate with them on that particular contract. However, the work that Bayou Land was going to do was focus groups with special education directors, community organizers that are involved with employment. They were going to do focus groups with, let me pull up my notes. Parents and family members. However, whenever the executive director of Bayou Land reached out, he sent out a mass email to SPED directors, like I said, community organizers who are involved in employment. He didn't get any response or participation in those focus groups. So he felt like he really couldn't contribute to that contract. So he decided to just pull out. So I just wanted to let the council know, let you guys know that he will not be a part of the contract. So that I talked to Nicole, there's no need to make any motions or anything because the contractor that you guys awarded the contract to will carry out the contract according to the proposal that they submitted to you guys in July.
Okay.
Have any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
Dr. Hughes?
I talked to Nicole Learson because I wanted to make sure you guys didn't have to go back and make another motion, Jill, to take Bayou Land out of the out of that particular contract. But she said it's not due to any fault of the council. It's just he couldn't carry out his portion of the contract and he decided to just pull out himself. So there was no need for another motion.
Okay. No more business.
All right. Thank you, Ebony. The next item is the executive director hiring process.
You guys can discuss the whatever process, yeah, so it's open for y'all to discuss.
Okay.
it.
Direction as to what they need to be discussing.
What?
So they understand what they need to start discussing.
Okay, so at this point, you guys will discuss the process you would like to use to hire a new executive director. And once you decide on a process and make a motion, that motion will go to the full council for a vote.
Okay.
So
What have y'all used in the past that has worked, not worked?
So the last search that the council did, oh, Jill, do you want to answer that question?
Ebony can answer, but I have many thoughts on this because I believe that everything's gonna explain what we did to hire the last executive director, but I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm the only person here that was there when we hired the last executive director, and I wanna take that process and do the complete and utter opposite.
Direction, yes. Okay.
So, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I mean, they need the historical knowledge, Jill. So I wasn't here when the initial director got hired, so I don't know what that process was. When she retired, the council decided to develop an executive director search committee. And members were appointed, council members were appointed to that committee. And Brenton, you can help me out because he was the staff person over the committee. But I can tell you the process was very long. They took a while to come up with the job description. They actually hired a firm to help them do a nationwide search. But the process took almost 2.5 years. Because we started in 2019 and the previous director didn't start until May 2021. So it took a long time for the process, but they conducted interviews with the candidates after they did their nationwide search and got applicants. And then they narrowed it down and the full council conducted the interviews with, I want to say 3 candidates, yes.
So it was recommended to me. Oh, first, can I talk?
Yes, you have the floor.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It was recommended to me by a former council member that we hire a search firm, but I don't even, did I say former chair or director?
Former
You said for the council.
council member.
Yeah. so that we hire a search firm, but I've had some conversations with staff and Christine in other contacts I have, and I highly suggest not a search for firm. And if I would, I always play the if Joe ran the world. So I'm gonna hear me go right. So I don't know how this goes, but if it were up to me, I would definitely consider promoting from within. And like I said, if Joe ran the world, we have an executive director Friday. And so I think I do have another friend that was on the search. Never mind. And it just was a lot. It was so much, and I thank God every day I was not on that search committee. And so I would like, Nicole, can I make a motion?
Absolutely.
I would like to motion right now if we could think about hiring from within as opposed to a search. It was nationwide or statewide, and
Nationwide.
It was a nationwide search.
well, yeah. And you may or may not lose council members and council staff over a big to-do production. So my motion to this room is to get your executive director candidate from within the current staff.
I'm working on pulling it up, guys. Hold on one second.
Yes, because didn't it take, was it 2.5 years?
Mhm.
Well,
During COVID.
It's about
Yeah.
I have a question, because if we weighed out the break we took during COVID, like how long was the process?
There was a small break during COVID, but I can't remember the exact time frame. Some of the barriers that we had, there was a lot of factors at play, a lot of people that were involved in the search. So we had, it wasn't the executive committee that was the search committee. It was part of executive committee, it was part council members. Somehow there were non-council members that also ended up on the committee. And then we got a memo from the feds that that was not the case. They could not be on the actual committee. It had to strictly be council members. And so that was a disruption. When you have a lot of people in play, you have to have a quorum. So part of the problem we had was we had so many people, we had to have a large quorum and we had to meet often. I think we didn't meet often enough, which is part of why it took a long time. Because when you hire a search firm, so just for your knowledge, our search firm quotes, if I'm not mistaken, and this is 2019 numbers, I don't know what they would be now, was anywhere from like 20 to 50,000. We went with the lower option, and I can tell you that at least the last time I checked, and in 2019, when we did this, they said we were pretty much their last kind of client, if you will. They were not going to be doing these sort of things anymore. In fact, we contracted with them and then they subcontracted the work out to someone else to help us with this process, who was great, but I don't know what that person charges. But part of what I think you have to consider if you do go in a search firm route would be cost, would also be the commitment that would have to be whoever you appoint as the search committee, or if you do it yourself as the executive committee. You would have to be willing to be pretty often, because this search firm is not just going to do the work and then bring somebody back to you. You're going to want to be involved, and they're going to ask you to be involved in development of the search, the questions for the interview, reviewing of the applicants, like all this kind of stuff. So that's going to be things that you'll need to consider. But all of that is what takes a lot of time. And then you have applicants that you interview. You have to coordinate their schedules along with all of these schedules to also have a quorum, because this is all public meetings. Even an interview was a public meeting. You had to go as an executive session. And then you bring this person out before the full council, and it's not included in your typical council meeting. You have to have a separate meeting. So that's what took so long, especially if, and that was, we were able to do those things virtually. Right now, we still don't have guidance on the new laws that have been passed as far as how that's going to impact us. So until that rule is there, these things are going to have to happen in person.
And
So those are
I
things to
don't
consider.
drive. I'm sorry, it probably wasn't a number. So, okay, so, okay.
Jill, just for clarification, for the motion, you're recommending that we just open it from within?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a second? Is there a second?
A second.
Second, all right. Is there any? Is there any debate? It's moved and seconded to go ahead and hire from within for executive director. Is there any debate from committee members? Is there any public comment? Okay, are y'all ready for the question? The question is on whether to hire an executive director from within the current staff instead of conducting a nationwide search made by Jill Hano and seconded by Brooke Stewart. Okay. Are there any objections to this motion? Okay. Hearing no objections, are there any?
I have a comment. So if we pass the motion, you guys will still have to come up with a process for interviewing and
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I
A
like
little vague.
have to kind of
A
go,
little vague.
yeah.
So if we pass it as is, the current staff, whoever is interested would, I guess, apply, but you guys will still have to come up with a process, like is the executive committee going to be the ones responsible for interviewing and negotiating? Or are y'all gonna give that power to the full, I mean, not the power, are you gonna allow the full council? So there needs to be a little bit more discussion, yes,
Okay.
specifics in
So,
what that process looks like.
so, I'm sorry, Brooke.
No, go ahead, Jill.
No, go ahead.
No, you were first.
Okay, my question was, can we make a motion to just promote with them, promote? Like, can we just make the motion for the person?
To promote instead of hiring from within.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You mean like an appointment, like you?
An
Yeah,
appointment.
yeah, just give all
Can
the
we make that motion?
That way we wouldn't have to go through the interviews.
process, yes.
Is that possible?
That's,
Is
Is it
that
possible just to
I'm saying,
appoint who's in place now?
For the council.
Yeah, exactly.
people gonna be mad, y'all.
This is the recommendation that we'll bring to the council is that we will appoint from within.
Mhm.
But the final the final say is from with the whole council tomorrow. Yes.
Okay.
So is
Okay,
that what we
so-
want to do?
But we need a
I want to
backup.
make sure that we
Yeah.
don't.
Something to back
So-
that up.
Finish with
if-
this motion.
So,
Nicole Larson, can I withdraw my motion and Brooke make a new motion?
At this time, yes, you can, with the permission, so with the permission of the chair, you can ask to withdraw your motion, and if there's no objection, you can do that.
Okay. Okay, so Christie,
Yes.
thank you. May I please with sugar, I'm sorry. Can I withdraw my motion?
yes, you may.
What-
Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, I don't.
Why?
Why?
Are there any
why-
objections to withdrawing?
I just got a question. Why do you want to withdraw that motion?
Because I think it's because if we do the current staff,
Cause
we'd have to come up with the
some.
interviews
Came
and-
So
up.
I can maybe.
Okay.
Okay,
And just provide clarification. So if we pass the motion as is, you guys will have to come up with another process and like specifics on interviewing and all that's including in the hiring process.
Okay.
What Brooke is, suggesting to the committee, is that y'all don't, you want to explain what you, I don't want to like
I get it.
put words in your mouth.
It's just appoint Ebony as the director
yeah,
and skip
Yeah,
forego the hiring process, extra meetings and commitment from us. And
And I
but
agree.
Yeah, I
I
agree
just know
too,
we
but
have
do
a
you-
backup.
Right.
So would we be going back to Jill's motion if we
No,
weren't?
What she said,
Consider-
she would withdraw her motion.
okay,
And so it would be like it wasn't on the table.
Okay,
Can
okay.
officially make a motion, I have to withdraw
okay.
Mhm.
that motion and then does that need a second?
For what you're saying, Ebony, even if we present that to the council, we still need to have something else in place. Like, for instance, if this is,
If the
No, she
council
withdraws.
doesn't.
if the cousin,
If she withdraws this motion and you guys accept Brooke's motion and it's passed,
okay,
that'll go to the full council for a vote.
okay, right. So what if they do
No,
not
no.
agree?
So then that's
Come back.
that, y'all will go back to
Come back.
discussion and then the full council will have to come up with.
So,
Right.
we need to be thinking of something just in
Just in
They
case.
pass the motion,
Uh-huh.
it'll go to the full council and say they don't like it. They then have the opportunity on the floor to come up with
Within the
what they
motion.
think it should be.
Gotcha,
Um,
okay.
let's say they also vote for this new motion
Mhm.
and you go through the negotiations and they fall through and it doesn't work out. Then you'll have to reconvene to
To
determine.
determine, okay, that's what I wanted to know, thank you.
We're voting on the motions that passed or only like, this is what we as a committee is directing, is passing like all this, like every motion we pass. Once we bring to the committee, like nothing is guaranteed, like every motion we pass could like not pass in the full council
Right.
meeting.
Gotcha.
I'm just trying to be a little bit proactive.
Yeah, no,
Get
I
the
understand.
thinking.
And, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Jill. I mean, go ahead, Brett, I'm sorry.
Do we think, I want to pass a motion that,
Wait, you wanna,
no, I'm just like,
let's do the withdrawal first, and then if it's okay, Brooke.
I'm not doing the motion. That was part of my sentence.
Okay,
I was just saying, like, I want to just pass a motion that we think our full council would accept. So,
Oh,
you know,
there's no way of telling that.
and that's what I'm saying, like Jill brought that up of the,
Right.
right, so I don't want to make that, I don't want to make that motion of like something, I got, like, I don't want it to be like a great contention, I guess.
yeah.
Right.
So do
Well,
we have
that's-
like a better
that's what
version,
we
like something else
do.
that we could?
But I do like. So don't want me to withdraw that? Because I like when you said better than what I
Yeah.
said.
And we all agree with what you
Said.
stated.
We all agree.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for our full council.
Well, that's a part of
And
being a
that's
council.
part of it,
That's what
right.
we do.
Not, you don't have to agree.
Yes.
We just have to be proactive in thinking of,
Point of order,
you know,
Jill, let's go ahead and do the withdrawal. Are
Okay,
there any objections to her motion to withdraw the motion? No objections? The motion is withdrawn.
Okay.
Any other motions?
Yes. Oh, yes, Joe. I'm sorry,
Chris,
Christie.
that's okay.
What is the?
My God.
To promote,
Current, my motion is to promote the current. Yes,
Interim
please. help me.
No, I didn't want to say it initially because I know y'all had to deal with the withdrawal, but to kind of speak to what you were saying, you want to pass a motion that the council would agree with. I understand that, but you have to remember your role as part of the executive committee
mhm.
is you are the executive committee. So it's your job to come up with these things. You have in the back of your mind what the council is probably thinking or doing, but you have to stand behind the decisions that you make. So you want to make a decision that you're comfortable with, something that you can really back up, and something that it doesn't matter if you think your peers are going to agree or disagree.
Mhm.
That's how this process works.
Okay,
They've elected you to be a chair of a committee or be on this executive committee. And so that's a trust that they're putting in you to handle business and to bring to them. You're doing the heavy lifting for them in certain situations,
Okay.
like what's on your agenda today. And so you have to make something based on what you think is in the best interest of the council. And if they disagree, they disagree. That's what tomorrow's about. They can disagree with this, and then we can come up with new ideas. But this gets it started.
okay,
Right.
thank you.
You want to do what you think is best in here
Okay.
to bring to them,
Mhm.
and then let the cards fall as they do.
Oh, I think.
So I would like to make, can we make the screen bigger?
Make it big.
So are there any other motions on the floor?
Let me just-
You may want to consider details of your appointment if that's what you're doing.
Okay,
So you're gonna have to pay this person. You need to consider what you think that's going to, like, you wanna,
all in the one.
otherwise, this is going to involve everybody coming back to start coming up with
Well, do
details
we-
of what.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, do we have details in what is the salary? Like, we don't have any of that, that information. Can we get that so we can put that all in the motion?
So all of that information is public, it's
Yeah.
on boards and commissions.
Process.
Okay.
Let's focus on the process. Okay, it'll be about it. Okay.
Kind of,
can
okay.
tell you that our past executive director was not only in the low end of it, like the range set by the committee was the low end, because even the top of the range offer was still the low end of the range that we should be offering.
Okay,
Now, and I may or may not have called the last executive director and was like, my bad.
okay. So, once we make the motion, all of that information will be distributed to us and we can go from there.
Yes, I mean, I can definitely provide that
Okay.
information.
So Brooke, did you want to make a motion? Did you still want to make the motion?
Yes.
Okay,
But I wanted to say, like, I had looked up the salaries prior. Like when we had the,
mhm,
and I think I had thought that, I had thought that, I thought 115, like to 120. When I looked at the executive director salary.
mhm.
Where did you get that?
I looked at like the Louisiana board.
Okay,
And I just was looking at like
So what
all,
other kind of details do we need to put in the motion, you know?
So I guess, can I hear the motion? Well, can I hear what you're proposing? You don't have to do the motion.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean,
I am looking to propose that we promote the interim director as the permanent, I don't know, the permanent executive director with a salary of 115 to 120,000. Or how does that,
Oh,
or can you do that?
You do set the salary. You can set the salary. I would,
No,
no, I would. I don't know if I should give a recommend. I think it would be better if you had two motions where you have the person and then you have the salary.
okay.
So that way you can handle if they're in agreement with the person.
Oh, and then the
you
whole
can discuss
motion.
salary.
Okay.
I will say, when you get to the salary part, there's a lot of factors you need to consider.
Right,
That
Yes.
maybe is not in the back of y'all minds at the
right.
moment.
Okay, so can I move forward with making the motion,
Mhm.
the original, okay, so. Okay, I would like to make the motion to hire interim director Ebony Haven. As the permanent, or what is it?
Executive.
As the executive director for the council.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, a second. by Ms. Renata. Is there any debate from committee members? This one? Oh, gosh, okay. So the motion is to hire from within the interim executive director, Ebony Haven, as the executive director of the Louisiana Developmental Disabilities Council. Motion was made by Ms. Brooke Stewart and second by Ms. Renata Washington.
Don't get nervous now, Ms. Haven.
Now, is there any debate from committee members? None, okay. Not really. Is there any public comment? Are you ready for the question? Mhm. And so the question is to hire the interim executive director, Ms. Ebony Haven, as the executive director of the Louisiana Developmental Disabilities Council. Mhm. Are there any objections to this motion? Right. Are there any abstentions? Abstentions? None. Okay, hearing no objection, the motion is approved. Did we ask Ebony to share?
We don't need to do that. Yeah, she'll share with us. tomorrow.
I know. I'm just being.
I'm just kidding. Well, could you share? If you did not want that, when do you
I
share?
would have shared.
You would, okay.
Yes, I definitely would have had.
Said,
Yeah, I don't- I-
I declined, I did, when they asked me.
Y'all gonna start putting it out
Yo,
So this is something you would want Ebony. Okay.
I'm very interested.
I just want to suggest that we wait to do salary. That way we have all the information and financials, if that's okay with the board.
Yes.
Okay, then we have all the information, and once we have all that, we can decide on salary. Is that okay?
So Ebony, you're still saying we need more to present on tomorrow, or is this
Do we need
we still
anything
need
else?
more
We
things
can't,
added?
I think this is a great motion. Since you guys want the additional information on the salaries, we can provide that information. And remember, there's always the full council tomorrow. You guys can make those motions on the floor at the full council about negotiating,
Okay,
whether that's gonna be with the full council or with the executive committee or with Christie and Jill, the chair and the vice chair. Whatever the will of the council is.
okay, so we can wait. to see.
I would,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
No, you have the floor, Jill. Go ahead.
I would feel more comfortable if we just, I mean, just hand a number to put up there, and then by tomorrow, we will have more information, but I don't feel comfortable. Hey, Ebony, start a new job. Well, how much? We don't know. So I would wanna put a number there just to have it on record. And then once we did our research, maybe, I don't, does that make sense? Or,
It makes sense to me.
okay, $1?
Jill got it, Jill.
Yeah.
Jill, she got a lot of touch.
Yeah, I-
We're gonna have to negotiate higher than $1, Jill.
Good one, right now. So, like,
I don't necessarily believe in $1.
cause
Ebony and Brittany, do we have to go to executive session to discuss salary?
Whatever the will of the committee is. So
Yeah.
it's a public position.
Yeah.
It's the executive director of the Louisiana Developmental Disabilities Council is a public position. So I mean, that is one of the things, like the salary is public information. So you don't have to go in executive session, but if you all feel more comfortable discussing the salary in executive session, we can.
So we stop out when y'all do executive? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just leave my notebook?
We just need we would need a motion
Okay.
to go into executive session.
So I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss salary.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Are there any objections to the motion? Are there any abstentions? Hearing no objections, the motion is approved. We'll be going into executive session. Okay, okay.
sit here and discuss the salary. Without.
I don't like sitting over here.
Come on.
Everybody.
I tried to move it up.